Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on Supergirl Season 3, and this is going to be my review for episode 13, otherwise known as this weird finale thing we have. Anyway, we'll talk about that later in the video. Anyway, it's otherwise entitled Both Sides Now. So of course, before we go ahead, there will be spoilers in this video because we're going to be going over the big talking points from this episode. So if you've not watched the episode, go do that, then come back to this video later on. But essentially going into this episode, the most important thing to take from last episode is that they rounded down a group of people who could possibly be Worldkillers, and Supergirl had been having these visions, or nightmares if you want to call them, of the Worldkillers coming down, obviously Rain and two other people, and one of them she recognised as Julia Freeman, so that's where we kicked off this episode by, going after Julia Freeman. Now, due to them going after Julia, you know what happens? Yep, Purity is awoken. Now, that scene was pretty cool for the most part. I'm surprised she maybe didn't do more damage than she could have, or that she did in that opening scene. And yeah, I was sort of let down that like not Mon-El, like Martian Manhunter just went through the ice and just got rid of it. We didn't actually see it happen, because I was wondering if those two would have a fight by themselves, but he must have been too quick, if you want to say, for Purity, and was able to calm her down with those like power dampening handcuffs, like the meta dampening handcuffs we have on the Flash. Now, one interesting part of this episode was actually when Purity, or Julia, what would you call it? No, we'll call it Purity because I think eventually she's just going to be known as Purity. When we see Purity locked up in the DEO, and we see the different approaches from both Kara, who's going for the good cop, if you want to say, it's basically a good cop, bad cop approach to the situation. So Kara is the good cop in this situation, and Alex is the bad cop, and Alex is basically having none of it, treating Purity as if she's Rain, and asking, obviously, where Rain is. But Kara is trying to not connect to Purity, but trying to connect to Julia, while obviously Alex is more talking to Purity. So when it comes to the end of the episode, you do feel that maybe Kara was going in the right direction, but in that situation, Kara sort of got fed up at the same time. It was just like, you know what, stuff it. Let's just go after her and just treat her like she is Purity. But due to this whole thing, we have the Worldkillers awakening. Sort of. That crystal thing that Purity had, it connects to Rain, so it makes Samantha go Rain. Now, they haven't really 100% really explained what makes Rain or Samantha go Rain. She does it at random points, and then there's other points where you think she should go Rain and doesn't go Rain. So hopefully when we come back from this break, which we'll once again talk about towards the end of the video, they maybe explain that a bit more, because even Purity's a bit up and down with the whole Rain thing. Like, Samantha's not really struggling too much with the control, but Purity was able to, go in between Julia and Purity a decent amount. So I don't know, hopefully when it comes back, they, clarify more, like, what necessarily makes them go to their Worldkiller sort of state compared to their normal state that they were before they went Worldkiller. So hopefully they clarify that when we come back. It's just a bit confusing at this stage, because Samantha just seems to go Rain whenever the plot needs her to, not when like you think she would actually go Rain, if that makes sense. Now, one part that made me smirk, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I even pointed out on Twitter, is when Purity breaks out of her cell in the DEO, is like shooking down and shaking down and quivering down and quaking down everyone in the DEO. Everyone's getting smashed and she escapes. And then we cut to Mon-El and Jean, or Martian Manhunter, or Hank, I guess, but Jean, call her Jean, in the Legion ship drinking Martian moonshine. I was like, okay, that's the most random parallel we'll ever see. And I was like, wow. But this all leads to like a conversation between Jean and Mon-El about the whole relationship thing, about how, Jean was married on Mars. We already knew that. He had a wife and kids. And about how they talked. And that was like, one of the most important things about marriage. And, obviously in that early in the episode, we saw the issues between Mon-El and Imra. Now, this just once again highlights like Mon-El's place on the show. It just does feel like Mon-El's there just for relationship drama, whether it's with Kara or with Imra. It's just like drama all the time. And that's one of the biggest issues with the character. And even later in this episode, when we have the fight in, I think it was a train station, Mon-El's so useless. Like, they really need to make it clear, like, why is Mon-El on the show? Because they keep putting him in these situations where it's like, this doesn't need to be in the show. He's not doing anything. What's happening? They really need to clarify what the hell is going on with the character, because there's more times in an episode, I'd say 9 times out of 10, whenever Mon-El's in a scene, he doesn't necessarily have to be in the scene, or he offers nothing productive or useful in the actual scene. They really need to work on this character. I think he's gone by the end of the season. And they've worked him into this to like bring in the Legion and stuff because they've been teasing that since season 1. I think he's gone at the end of the season. I can't see how they can keep him on when really at the moment he offers nothing. He doesn't really warrant it, and then you see other characters on other shows go away for, when they actually offered more to the show than Mon-El does. So unless he starts offering something more when we come back from this break, I would probably be pretty happy to see him go, because I think he's just like sort of a useless character, same as like how James is sort of useless on the show as well. And I don't think James was even in this week's episode, so that should tell you like a million words about James's character. Like, did anyone notice he was gone? I just noticed then from bringing him up right now that he wasn't even in this week's episode. The purity hunt, as I like to call it, you know how Easter egg hunts and stuff like that, this was the purity hunt. So who was going to get to purity first? Was it going to be Rain, or was it going to be the DEO? And of course it's a DEO, and they basically get through to Julia in almost like a Man of Steel and scene, like sort of sequence, I guess. You know, Purity has Kara around the neck and stuff, so I thought, oh, snap her neck. Snap. Okay, no. Okay, anyway, it seemed a bit easy to get through to Julia. And I wonder if they're going to be able to do that come when we return from the break. I have to keep saying that, but it's a long break, and we'll get to that in a second, like the details of that. I'm interested to see who Pestilence is, whether it's someone we know or it's someone completely random. I'm interested to see who Pestilence is, because that could be a big piece in the jigsaw for this season, because if it's someone we know, then it might be easier for our like Supergirl and the DEO to get, into them and sort of like make them not go Worldkiller, but it's going to be pretty difficult regardless, because it does look like Purity is going to be, put to that level that Rain is on at the current stage. Now, they do tease something which they didn't answer in this episode, and I was like, oh, we're going to have to wait 2.5 months basically to hear this. But Imra reveals a secret to Mon-El and the real mission as to why they've come to Earth, and we don't hear what it is. Now, I think the rumor was that it has to do with Imra's sister, or something like that. I don't know the details of it. I just saw that on Twitter and I was like, okay, we'll wait and see how that plays out. But apparently it's something to do with Imra's sister. If anyone knows more about this rumor or theory, or if it's real, let me know in the comment section down below. I've just heard it's about Imra's sister, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But then we see Sam almost go Rain on Lena. Almost. She goes like, she says like silence or something like that. Something along those lines. And I thought she was going to go full on Rain, because I knew it was the last scene in the episode. I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? I thought she was going to go Rain and like Lena was going to know and stuff like that. But then it ends and Lena goes, I know what's wrong with you. Maybe Lena does know that she is Rain now because of the voice and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting when we come back. But speaking of when we come back, we're not back until April the 16th. I think that's the first episode we're back. So we're gone for quite a while. We're gone for over 2 months. So yeah, if Supergirl's the only show you watch on the CW and stuff, then well, find some other show to watch, because it's gone. So next week at this time, or the time that Supergirl was on, Legends of Tomorrow is back, which I'm very excited for. I cannot wait. But overall, I thought this was a good episode, but in regards to an episode that's leading into a 2.5 month break, basically, I thought it wasn't as good as it could have been. I think it should have been a bit better, seeing that we're not going to be with Supergirl for over 2 months. As an episode by itself, I thought it was decent. I thought it was pretty good. Learned more about the Worldkillers, did a lot with Purity in this episode, which I think they needed to do, so then when we get back, we can get into Pestilence, and then all the Worldkillers coming back together, or coming together as one, might I say, and doing their thing. But yeah, seeing that it's leading into a 2-month break, or more than a 2-month break, it should have been a bit better, but I'm not going to, have a go at it because of that, because I think, like, this episode wouldn't have been written knowing it was going into a 2.5 month break, most likely. They probably didn't even know about it. They might have known about like a break, but I don't think they would have known about the extent of the break, if that makes sense. So, can't really knock them down for that. I thought it was still decent, and yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite part of the episode, were you let down by this episode, and what do you think about the certain things in this episode, like Imra's secret? Do you think it's about her sister, or do you think it's about something else? Just let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.